you rise and join me for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right. First thing we got on our agenda is approval of minutes, public and non-public, from October 8th.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes, public and non-public, from October 8th, 2024.
Okay.
Second.
All right, so that was Kathleen second. Kathleen made the motion, Dawn seconded. I'm just speaking up because Kamala's taking the minutes from the recording, so. All right, did anybody see anything on the minutes that needed to be corrected, edits, changes, anything like that?
Did not.
I did not see anything either. The only thing is on the printed copy we have here, that's here in the building, it is the non-public page 1, and then it's missing public page 1 because but it's all on the packet, it's all there. It just printed wrong on that copy right over there.
Okay.
That's all.
I'm going to get rid of these.
That's all.
Mine.
All right.
Yep.
Anything else on that? All right. All those in favor of the approval of minutes from October 8th, in public and non-public, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? Abstentions? Nobody abstained. All 4 0. Okay. Public comment. All right.
No
Done
public.
with that. No public here. Continuing business. Student representative report. Lily, take it away. You have a written report here that she handed out. So go ahead.
All right. So on the 16th, volleyball had one of their home games, and they were having everybody wear pink to honor the breast cancer awareness. On the senior game for football, they won 40-10 on the 13th. There's a lot of senior games coming up or that have recently passed. Cross country had one on the 16th, field hockey on the 17th, volleyball on the 18th, girls soccer today, and boys soccer on the 25th. Cross country boys won their senior night meet over Dairyfield, Conant, and Muniscom, finishing with 5 boys in the top 7. Emma took 5th in the girls race and Gunnar 1st in the boys race. Field hockey is 4-8, volleyball varsity 4-10, JV 1-2. Girls soccer has 2 ties, 3-8-2. Boys soccer varsity 9-0-4 with the 4 ties. JV 2-0. Football 4-1. Interact over the weekend of 10-13. They had the barbershop harmony. It's like a band thing.
Yeah, the Hanover Barbershop Society, or whoever they are, they have a concert every year and Interact works with them. So.
Yeah, they help with concessions, seating, tickets, leading people around. For the Writers Club, they're going to start publishing a story in the monthly newsletters, and the first one will be a Halloween short story. And then at their next meeting, they're going to pick a winner to be published in it. For a drama club, for the high school one, our opening night is Friday, November 8th at 7, Saturday, the 9th at 7, and Sunday at 2, the 10th. Admission is $10 for regular tickets, 5 for students and seniors. The middle school, their play is this weekend, the Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. I think it's the same time, 7, 7, and 2. Art club had their first fundraising activity where they sold temporary tattoos and face painting during homecoming. And it has, in the written one, there's the numbers and stuff. Then there's a puzzle painting workshop for the students, annual pumpkin carving workshop, stuff like that. In NHS, they are still reading to the preschoolers, and they are talking to the preschoolers about the things that we all do and stuff. There were 20 new members inducted on 10/10. So now there's 27 total. And we're working on planning Thanksgiving food drive boxes with Friends of Mascoma to provide 60 food boxes for families in the district. AV Club has a lot going on with directing Ride the Cyclone musical coming up, working on filming activities, making video games, radio station stuff, helping record the games on the fields and the games inside. And the plays, of course, all sorts of stuff like that, kind of stuff. Newsletters, all that sort of stuff. Student counselors working on teacher appreciation and working on selecting the executive board, and they have Senior class is working on senior trip, junior class on prom, the sophomores working on what they do outside of school, with like sharing everything with their classmates and displaying the activities on their little board in their hallway. They also want to look at what they're doing for fundraising and stuff. And the freshman class is talking about getting installed the holiday bazaar for fundraising and instilling a sense of community throughout their class. And then the scholarship test for the juniors happened on the 15th. There was a lot of kids that participated. There was a theater workshop field trip, a dreaming field trip recently. Unfortunately, the Halloween dance was canceled. Picture retake day was today. Senior stuff, we need to get our write-ups in by December 15th. Quarter 1 closes on Halloween. There'll be a flu clinic for IRS on the 12th. Project grad weeks and poinsettias are almost over, but the fundraiser is going on now. There was a Future Opportunities Fair going on at 10:15 today. There was a FedEx representative who shared his story and all sorts of things that he does. And he did pathways and stuff. There's on the 6th is NH Apply Day, where if you submit your application for college, I think you can do it free, like no price for applying. There's a career fair, college planning stuff, all sorts of that stuff happening in November, the beginning of November. And then there's a scary story contest in the library recently. And the math meet had a meet today, and they placed second with 63 points.
All right.
Nice.
Thank you, Lily. Any questions on any of those things?
Why was the Halloween dance canceled?
I think there was a lack of participation.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Just a lack of interest.
Low ticket sales
Yeah.
usually will do that.
Yeah, it's too bad.
Yeah.
It was.
All right. Any other questions?
Where are you going to college?
I'm looking at University of Vermont, University of New Hampshire, and then Wisconsin and North Carolina.
Cool.
Good. Put that on your resume.
All right.
All right. Put everything on your resume about doing this. So I will say it again. You are doing a great job. You're a senior, so put that on you.
That's right. All right. Nothing else for Lily? Okay. Next thing we have on our agenda is finance facilities. Our minutes are there in your packet. Dan and Matt gave a report for facilities and grounds and facilities, all the updates, what's happening. So they're replacing fixtures. They're working on, getting stuff touched up. He's doing his budget things. They had a demo of some floor machines and some touchless bathroom cleaning carts. So they're looking at some equipment and things. The net partition is installed. It is installed now at IRS, I believe. So that's all taken care of. That's updated. We talked a little bit about CIP, and you'll see that next time it comes out to the full board. We talked about the soccer field and the quality of the field itself. And so Amanda met with Upper Valley Turf, talked about what needs to be done to improve the safety and condition of the field. We got a quote on it, and I think what we would like to start doing is cycling in rotation of fields into the CIP. Because that field's been there almost 10 years now in its current state. And it would be 10 next season. This is its 10th season because we started on those fields in 2015. So this would be its 10th full season. But yeah, we talked about rotating, doing a rotation of fields to make sure that those are of good quality, because right now kids are getting hurt on our soccer field, so not good. We also talked about, in that same vein, Seth's working on getting some quotes for auditorium gear that will need to go into the CIP. That's expensive. And then I also just brought up the driveway here, that as you pull into this driveway, you'll drive over a little tiny speed bump that's not supposed to be there. That's actually a culvert that's been working its way through the driveway. That'll probably crack in the next couple of years, so we should probably prepare for that type of eventuality, and that would not be good, because that's where all the water from the student parking lot goes down and across. And that's the only way in and out of this campus too, so we just want to look at that. Budget, we had our regular budget stuff. Talked about our budget meeting yesterday. Cafe services, no updates there, but we did have a little talk about what happened in Goffstown over the summer, or at the end of their school year. They brought families to small claims court. That did not go over well. We did add a new driver to the bus, so that took Sierra off a regular route, so we have a spare driver. They are adding another driver soon, and then we can split up to CES runs. The vans that we have on order are being built as we speak. We've been told that they are being built, and we will have them by the end of the year. That's all I can say, really. But yeah, we will have them as soon as possible, and that will help us with field trips. She noted that schools up north have 5 or 6 vans, just because that's going to be a good way to take people to and from, take kids to and from. Because like you can get one team on 2 vans, or you can get a whole field trip on 2 vans, 3 vans. So that's good. Talked about driver's ed. I actually talked to the guy at Street Smart. I called him and pretended to be, well, I didn't pretend. I am a parent looking for driver's ed. And then I asked him to reach out to Amanda. He kind of blamed the state on the slow walking of everything, so I have to follow up with the state on that. We did some policy work. Those will be coming back to us. We did talk about solar. So we talked about the solar, the sustainability plan. Michelle did send that out to everybody, and we're going to talk more in depth about solar and how to prepare for like a request for proposals for solar companies to show us what they got. We also talked about this lane out here along the side of the building by the wood shop and the custodial offices and all that sort of thing. Just talking about the issues with parking, cars parking there, even though there's all these signage to get no parking. So we just talked about that, and probably have to do more enforcement and warnings and events, during events and announcements to move cars. And we don't want to, but we may have to tow cars. It is a fire lane. It is something that cars should not be parked in, and it is an active pickup zone until at least 7 o'clock at night. It's 8 o'clock at night sometimes. So we just have to keep that clear. And that's pretty much what we talked about at finance facilities. Any questions on any of that stuff?
Can I ask a couple things?
Yeah.
So, before I forget, November 6th is on, what day is that on?
That's a Wednesday.
It's a Wednesday.
Yep. Can you make that?
Well, I'm looking at November, I should be all done. That'll probably work out.
Good.
That's what I'm good at.
Good.
And then, so, Amanda, how long have you been as a superintendent?
This is my 7th year.
7th year. So we've had an issue with the soccer field back when Patrick was there, okay? And that's 10 years ago, all right? So that issue with the soccer field needs to get discussed with the whole fields, never mind just the soccer field, the baseball field, because kids were getting hurt back then. They still been getting hurt. So it needs to be, I know, and we discussed many a times about, I'm just bringing this up again because we discussed about not just the varsity field, we discussed about giving the athletic fields for the IRS kids up back some extra practice areas so they can practice, because where that field is, just so I'm bringing this up, and I'll bring it up again in the finance facility meeting, but I'm glad you brought the solar thing out, that's good. The practice fields for the IRS, there's another field, there's supposed to be another practice field for the kids up there too, which we got a section up there which hasn't been developed yet. That was what was done back in the renovation. We discussed that back in the renovation thing, so that's where the field will be. And as far as, I'm just bringing this up so it's brought on in the record so we can deal with it. Yeah, I know about the driveway. I've seen the driveway.
Yeah. Good.
That's good. Oh, my suggestion, we'll bring it up in the finance facility meeting. My suggestion will be for the parking violations for the fire lane.
Yeah.
You get the resource officer or the person who's in charge of being here for game events to come up and put a warning sticker over on the windshield to tell them that's what's going to happen next time it's parked there, and get it out of there. And that would be a deterrent if we could get them to do that before we start towing people. Because we discussed that years ago about the fire lane, towing people, and that doesn't go well with the public, but,
We don't want to, I think we have
I know,
we have the same idea of like a little courtesy note.
yeah, and so if we put something, a sticker on their windshield, and say, hey, you know, I mean, Sam Frank got after me when I passed, I was over in the handicap section, because I was on crutches. So I stopped, you know, to watch the game one time, and he come out and he realized, who the heck is packed in the handicap section? Well, it's me, and I turned around and looked at him and I said, what do you want me to do? And I said, I'm on crutches. Okay, so that's all I got to say about the finance facility, but I'll bring it up in the meeting again. But
Okay.
that's a good thing you got, that's a good report, what you got
Yeah.
over there, so that's good.
All right.
I will most likely be at that next meeting and push forward that solar thing, because I'm gonna die before
Check.
it's done.
Check your email, because the sustainability report is in there, so it has a lot of things about solar.
It does?
Yeah, and if you need, Mark, can we print it out for him if he can't get it on his computer? Probably.
Yeah.
All right, good. Cool.
Because I'm good at looking at stuff in print than I am on the computer.
Fair enough.
Okay,
Any other,
thank you.
no problem. Anything else for finance facilities? Any other questions?
No,
I mean, the soccer field's definitely, I mean, had kids playing on that field for more than a
Yeah.
decade. So, yeah, it is kind of,
I know.
I hate to say it's the laughing stock.
Yeah.
It's,
No, it's been deemed the worst soccer field in the state.
I know
They
we
were getting
improved it somewhat when we did the renovation, like when we switched to turf, that improved it a little bit, but I think now they're gonna have to strip it,
Yes.
add 6 inches of topsoil
Yeah.
to it and all that sort
Yeah.
of
they
thing.
made a mistake the year they put the football field, the field hockey field, and everybody playing on the football field, and that turned into that tore it up, and that didn't do well. The soccer field has been that way forever, because you can put the ball down here, and you can't see it, because it goes out of sight. So, I got in an argument with Patrick about it, and I told him, and he didn't like it when his son was playing. I told him that, I said, it's terrible, Patrick, it's terrible.
Yeah.
So, it's been 10 years ago, so
Yeah.
before you start tearing up the whole field, you need to, make sure that you're, not affecting softball field, the baseball field, and everything else included.
Oh, yeah, we'll have a plan.
Yeah, you need to have it laid out, so,
Yep.
I mean, you know,
We'll talk about that.
we'll turf the whole thing.
That's right, that's right.
I hope that the discussion about kind of field rotation or improvement plan will include looking into options to bring IRS baseball here.
Yes. I think we did talk about a little bit about the land in the back, and that we need another practice field or two, and I think, IRS, we could make that happen somehow.
Because right now, IRS baseball is really the only
That's
team
true.
that doesn't have a place on campus. They have to, and they're not old enough to drive,
Yeah.
so they have to take the bus.
Yeah,
So it stresses the transportation system,
Yeah.
and it just
Well,
is
it's-
not really convenient. And also that Hughes Park field is also trashed,
Yeah.
so.
yeah.
Um,
They should be able to, well, just not to interrupt you, but they should be able to play on the varsity field when the varsity's away. Because
I think they have. They have done that.
Because Tuesday, Fridays are when they schedule the varsity games. So they could play on that varsity field the other days.
Yeah, I mean, I think the bigger thing is that if you're changing where you're doing your gameplay, this has always been the case, especially for IRS, because they don't really have a very good home field. They don't have a home field that has an actual pitching mound. You know, there are differences in the delivery that impact the development of our teams and our players' skill set. So it just is just something that we should be looking
We should
into.
keep that in mind, yeah.
Yeah.
Schedule.
All right. Anything else for finance facilities? Okay. EIC, you have your minutes here in the packet. Kathleen, do you want to go review these?
Sure.
All right.
So we met on October 17th, and there was a lot of information shared regarding the distant learning presentation. And John Daly did a lot of work telling us, explaining to us all of the different things that are going on. He started with the experimental learning opportunities, and that led into the VLAC eStart, dual enrollment, and all of the others that you see listed on here, HiSET, and the Dartmouth College Community High School Program. And see if I pronounce this right, Edgenuity is a credit recovery program. And he also talked about the technology. He said that he credits Craig Suddy for helping with the program because there are minimal issues at this point. And then Tina spoke to us about the Future Opportunities Fair, which has been mentioned already on November 6th. And I asked about a mentoring program with the graduating seniors. And Tina said that she has a vision for the juniors to partner up with the 8th graders, so when they become freshmen, they already have a connection with the senior. And then we went into alternative pathways and how some suggestions were shared with John about featuring, having a student featured each month to go into the Royals report. And then also including a way for business owners to connect with John and set up the ELO partnerships. Our next meeting is going to be November 21st, 24.
All right. Any questions on that for Kathleen for ESC? Yeah, Daniel.
So this fits in really well with a lot of the stuff that we talked about and incorporated into the revised strategic plan. And one of the things that we had said, I forget which year because I did not check the list, but we had put in some sort of tactic in there around a way for us to source either volunteers or opportunities within the community, and that would be a good fit for for businesses or organizations that have a desire to potentially work with a student in an ELO capacity. So maybe we could revisit that and see what year we had put that in,
I think
if it fits
I
this
had
year, or
Yeah, I mean, we might as well do it. I think we used to have a, can you help your school or something like that section in the newsletters. I'll make sure that that is
Okay.
still there so people can sign up to
Yeah.
volunteer.
I mean, and even putting, maybe that section, maybe we set up, kind of a Google form that goes to the SAU that Martha or someone can peek in at and see if there are any people who express their interest and leave their contact information.
Any other questions on that one? I am surprised that the only closest testing centers for HiSET is Plymouth and Claremont. What do we have to do to become a testing center? Is there some
We're
sort of...
looking into it. That is also in the strategic plan,
Yes.
and Tim is very aware of it. So we are looking into that and looking into the cost.
Yeah.
There's a significant cost
Really?
in computers and
Mhm.
program, and I'd like to see it funded by the state somehow through some grant funding. So we're going to keep our eye on
Yeah.
that too. But we are
I-
looking at it.
It does everybody in the whole region a disservice to have them so far apart.
Yeah.
That's a real disservice to a lot of kids, so. And then the other thing I was gonna ask is I have kids that have done dual enrollment. They came out of Mascoma with, like Lydia came out of Mascoma, I think, with like 8 or 6 college credits. Like, it's great. It's an awesome way for kids to get a jump start. Are we gonna look at AP and like what our AP offerings are, and if they are still properly aligned with what we offer versus dual enrollment? Because now that I have kids that have gone through AP courses, perhaps some of the AP courses are unnecessary. And if we're putting kids in AP courses and they don't take the test,
Right.
Right.
then that ends up costing us.
And it doesn't always mean college credit, right? There's certain
Right.
credentialing issues
Yeah.
for the person teaching it.
Right.
So the teacher has to meet certain criteria in order to have it count. So yeah, Tina is working on that. We're working on making sure everybody leaves Masco with at least 1 college credit under their belt. That's a little kind of behind the scenes goal that we're working on. And I think it's very doable. Our kids that go to Hartford CTC often come out with a credit. So we're just not making the push for it, I think, strongly enough here. So we'll be looking at that opportunity for kids.
Cool. I think think that was the only thing I had. I like highlighting it in a kid, a student a month in Tina's Royals report to show, because that goes out to the community and that kind of shows people what kids are up to. So that's very good. All right. Superintendent's report. All right. Amanda.
So you do have my written report in your packet, and I do start out with some rather dark news. We are finding that the behavior on the buses is absolutely atrocious. We've heard parent after parent come in and say they'll support us. Those are the kids, as we discipline kids and take them off the bus. Those parents we're extremely thankful for, and hopefully they follow along on Facebook when my principals and the bus drivers get trashed, because we are suspending kids off the bus like we never have before. It just means that parents are angry though. So unfortunately, you will probably see some parents here at future meetings to complain about a bus suspension and the hardship it puts on the family. But kids the actions in it, it's reaching down to elementary school at this point too. We're at some point suspending 5 or 6 elementary school students off a bus. The language at the elementary level is atrocious. The fighting, the physical stealing, it's just gotten out of control. The elementary school principals are doing an excellent job getting it back under control. So I just want the people to be prepared that we are holding fast to good behavior on the bus. We appreciate the parents that support us in that, and I imagine that the parents that don't support us will hopefully come around and help their students behave on the bus. So don't be surprised if you see some angry parents here. We could also use a couple of bus monitors if anybody knows someone that would like to do that. Butlers would be happy to hire them. Quarterly reports will be coming from the buildings on the 27th. This came out of EIC, and we want to do some data review. April is going to do a presentation on the state testing data to the EIC committee. Then she will also come on the meeting of the 26th and do a presentation of the data that night also. And then you'll be able to look at the data. She's going to do an overall presentation, district as a whole. And then the buildings will get into the nitty-gritty of what their data looked like last year. So expect that on the 26th. Quarterly reports would have really been the meeting before that.
Yeah.
So.
That's okay. No, that's great actually. If that gives people, the EIC committee a little bit of time to dig into it, learn some more, that's great.
And then just a reminder of the upcoming budget meetings. And I'm not sure if Michelle in her report included the bad news about health.
Oh no,
you got before that, but I will talk about it.
Okay.
Oh no. So yeah. Anything else, Amanda?
That's all I have.
All right. So you do see the dates there for our budget meetings. We had elementary schools last night. Next week we'll have high schools, and then middle of November we'll have SAU, special ed, and the district-wide stuff. So if you are able to attend, please attend. We do put the caveat in it, but school board members are able to attend and ask questions and point stuff out. So we had a really great meeting last night talking about elementary schools too. So, any questions for Amanda? Yes, Brewster.
How many buses are involved with this disruption?
I have one major bus in Grantham. It is the Grantham Run that is having the worst time right now.
That's the worst one?
That's the worst one. Yeah, you want to be a bus monitor?
No, I will, as soon as I get done working in about a week or so.
All right.
Seriously, let's sign you up now, so.
Huh?
Let's sign you up now. So
You're gonna pay me to go do it even though I'm
Yeah,
on board?
Butler's totally pays.
Yeah, I will do that.
That's great.
I will do that just to get this ironed out.
I
because
appreciate that.
That would be
There's no ifs and ands about it, because, these kids, seniors used to be on the bus, juniors, and when Cookie was around, they used to quell this stuff. I will jump on a bus and
Great.
when I get done in a week or two here, I'll jump on it, whatever bus it is.
All right. That's awesome.
Just
That's
tell
great.
Butler, bus,
Just warn Butler.
just warn Butler that you got the wrong big dog coming on.
Uh-oh.
That'd be
Kids.
great.
That's
Yeah.
good.
So
They
I
need a
don't
big
want to
dog.
see any suspensions, because
No, let's.
Patrick suspended, what, a second grader, or no, kindergarten was it, years ago?
Cloud that before my
The
time.
one time he had to go and substitute for the principal at EBS, he ended up, I don't know,
Oh, we're not-
suspended
let's hope.
a first grader, I think.
Let's hope it doesn't come to that.
Well, I don't wanna see any suspension.
I don't want to see that either. I would like to see the kid be able to take the bus to school and behave, so let's hope for
All
that.
right, so let him know that.
Let's hope for that.
It's only one bus though, huh?
Well,
Yeah, that would be super helpful, that we just have the one Grantham bus run is giving us the most trouble right
Where do
now.
they leave out?
Canaan Elementary,
so it's the elementary
do?
one that goes out to Grafton? All right.
It goes Canaan, goes which way?
out towards you.
Your
They might go
neighborhood.
to Roberts Road, I think, maybe.
Yeah.
And then they head out.
Snake down, I'm not sure
Out
exactly.
towards,
What time do you leave?
3.
Is that the afternoon?
Yeah, it's the afternoon.
The afternoon is the issue, it's not the morning.
It's not the
Half
morning
asleep.
one?
I can find out.
Thank God it ain't the morning. I see him go by at 6 in the morning, I'm like, oh my God, I couldn't stand it, I couldn't do one, anyway, okay. So, yeah, if it's the afternoon one,
Yes.
I might be able to get on it sooner than later,
Okay.
because I get home
All right.
other than the propane truck.
Danielle, yes.
Are we for sure having a November 26th meeting?
That's what I was gonna ask the other day.
I thought we had it scheduled,
I
but
know we have it scheduled.
But it's during
it
Thanksgiving.
is Thanksgiving week.
Right. We
I don't want to
usually
throw
don't,
things off.
we usually not
Right.
here.
No, we've had it. that
I
week.
know, but sometimes we don't have
So
enough.
if there, I'm just putting
Yeah.
it out there that
Yeah.
if we don't have any business
Yeah,
and
if that's the only business
if
we
that's the
have.
only business, I would love to have April do her presentation in December.
Yeah.
Also, I will not be here on the
Oh.
26th.
It's whatever.
That might, yeah, that's not, we can talk about it next meeting.
Yeah.
But yeah, if we don't have a ton of business for that meeting, then we can
I'm
certainly.
also just wondering about how many meetings we have in December. Let me pull that up.
You only usually have one. 'cause
We usually do have
Yeah,
one.
we
That's
usually have
the-
one, because when Christmas comes around, so if we can pile on everything in November, that would be great. Tell them to give us a quarter report in the first one in November. We don't need to wait till middle of, give it to us in November, quarterly report.
Yeah,
Well,
so
but the EIC wanted to see it first.
Huh?
Michelle is looking at December and she is seeing that monthly list.
Oh, yeah, we were supposed to have our meeting on the 10th and the 24th, so we said nope to the
Yeah.
24th.
Yeah.
So we only have the 10th for December, so people are okay with one big meeting in December.
Right,
It might be a long meeting, but we'll be done with December.
Yeah, and one long meeting in
November.
and one
November,
in
that would be
December.
great.
If people are okay with that.
I am okay with
All
it.
right, so we'll
All right?
bulk
I
up
don't know
our,
about everybody else, but I am.
all
As
right.
long as you don't throw about 10 more, 20 more policies on the top of it.
Well, we're getting through a bunch of them here tonight, so
Don't just,
that'll be that.
you're supposed to have a limit of 6.
There's no end in sight.
There's
You
no,
guys have been hammering,
There's no end in sight.
we gotta clean this up. All right,
really?
anything else for Amanda?
No.
Okay, Michelle, you're up next. Business Administrator's report.
Okay, so my report's in there. There are some changes since I submitted this. One of them is we met last night for the elementary school budgets, and they were up a little higher just due to a position and a half at CES and a half a position at EBS that did not get put into the report the first time. It was just a computer glitch. It didn't transfer over. So I had to add those positions in along with the health, dental, and FICA, brought up the percents from CES is actually up 7% and EBS is up 4.5%. Health insurance, I budgeted 10%. I got a notice today that school care held their meeting yesterday, and there's two options floating around because they have an $11 million deficit in their reserve. They're looking at a 1 year, let's catch up, I think it's 15 to 19%, 14 to 19%. A 2 year catch up, 10 to 15%. I did reach back out, talked to Lisa at school care, and she let me know the most it would be is 15%.
Okay,
She's gonna cap it at 15%, and she does think Mascoma will come in lower than that.
okay.
So, hoping
Would that be on
it
a
might-
2
It
year?
might be over 10, but.
Yeah. So school care as a whole is trying to catch up,
Yes.
not just our district, but all of school care, okay.
So I should have that on, their meeting's November 1st, so after that on exact.
Cool.
So do we need So it's part of the budget, so do we need to supplement like a warrant article for part of this, or? Huh?
You shouldn't.
No.
I budgeted 10, so if it goes up another percent or 2, you're not looking at more than
Well, I'm just trying to
It's not.
proactive, that's all.
No, we'll got all this before the budget comes in.
Yeah.
Before
Yeah,
the
we
budget's
have
finalized.
to account, so we pretended it was gonna be a 10% increase, hoping for like 5, 6, 7% increase, right? So we'd shave some off the final, before the budget got finalized. But now we're gonna probably change things to 15%.
At the most. I mean, I'm still crossing my fingers it comes in at 10.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Yeah.
So the other things are the CES and the EBS, their budgets are,
They're higher than what's
they're up.
CES was set just over 7%, 7.4,
Something like that.
and EBS was 4.5.
4.5.
And when you look at that, the increase that Megan had control over, so not salary and benefits, the part that Megan had control over, so books, paper, supplies, all those things, Megan's budget only increased about $9,000.
That percentage part, like outside of salary, that would be a good data point to have.
Yeah,
Right, like what percentage of the budget is
Yeah.
that we can control.
we can control.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because somebody's gonna come in,
Oh, it's brutal.
Oh, yeah.
somebody's gonna come in and hammer the living daylights saying,
It's all right.
any percentages,
Sorry.
they're up.
Yes, Daniel.
And even that portion that is under the controllable part of things, some of that is not really controllable
No.
because it's the pass along of sewer, water,
Yeah.
electric, like all that kind of stuff.
Our contracted services, I mean, we
Right.
get every year, their rates went up,
Right.
now it, yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay,
So it
we'll
is,
deal with it.
it's
And all-
definitely tough.
Also, make just something I noticed is that the elementary school budgets are typically smaller than the other two schools, so a larger, dollar increase will be a larger percentage increase. So they will look like they're fluctuating more than they really are. Like, yes. All right. Anything else, Michelle? I saw you registered for your conference. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Next week we get to go to that on Halloween.
All right. Spooky.
Did-
Anything else for Michelle?
Well, sorry, I don't wanna be, I know you wanna rush, but
No.
did you figure out how much was going back to the towns? Being sent back to the
I don't have
towns?
the individual breakout yet, 'cause I don't have the tax.
You know what the taxes are going back, what's being resent back to all the
The
towns?
total amount was like 760,000, I believe. but I
That's
don't
what,
have-
that we're retaining is our percentage, and then it's like 700 and some odd thousand, you'll be able to divide it up?
Yeah, one second.
Okay, that's all.
Yep.
I know somebody's gonna ask, so that's why I figured to ask.
Oh, yeah, that's all in there. So, bus routes update. Any update for us on that stuff?
We do not have any updates or changes
Okay.
as presented
All right.
this time. Yay.
All right. Yay. Sorry, Michelle, was there anything else? I didn't mean to go to the next agenda item, but.
No.
All right, just making sure. And you see in your packet, we have the SB2 timeline. There was some question about it, but this is the actual timeline we checked. So this is all of our deadlines and stuff. So that's,
There was a change that was made, but it didn't have to do with the question that Dan had.
right.
It was about, because he was concerned about the turnaround time for the last filing period for candidates and the deliberative session, I believe.
Oh, yeah.
That Martha assured me is how it's always been.
It is how it's
Look, at it last year, it was the same. But you'll see, hopefully you have a paper that's got a highlighted January
Yep.
14th. That is a change of date that legal put forward. So
Okay.
that's-
So that is publishing the notice and posting the notice. That is a posting.
Yeah.
type of thing. That's for a bond. That's if we had a bond.
That's
But we
for
do
bonds.
not plan on having a
We
bond.
do not
So
plan on
thank
having
God.
a
So-
bond.
Geez, do you want to stir up the whole auditorium?
Yeah, let's get that going, sure,
You
why
want
not?
to fill the auditorium up, go ahead and put a bond on.
But yeah,
Well, they should come see that.
I remember, that is, the last day of filing is always the Friday before deliberative session.
Yeah,
And because we don't vote on people at deliberative, no, that's totally separate. All right. So that's all that stuff. So please make those dates Saturday, February 1st, 2025. Please make sure that date is cleared in your calendar. That is the deliberative session. And then just pay attention to some of these other dates too. As we have budget hearings, we will have one on a Wednesday night. So please be aware of that.
And that's it. Yeah.
All right. Next thing on our agenda We have yearbook approval.
So there was questions last year about yearbook for the school board members, and you can see that the unit price now for yearbooks is $60. It may have gone up since,
This is the early bird rate.
this is the early bird rate. So the yearbook advisor here at the high school really wants to know if you all want it. She cannot absorb that cost, you know, the $400, $500. In previous years, they have been able to absorb it, but the price of yearbooks is such that we can no longer do that. So if the board wants yearbooks, we're just looking for approval to spend money out of your school board line to purchase those. And if you don't want yearbooks, that's all good too.
How much are they?
At least $60, it might be up to $70.
So it'd be 7 times 7, it would be $490.
We're pretty sure it's up to $70.
All right, so 7 times 7 is $490, right?
8 times 7, we'll get 8.
I mean,
We'll get 8. 7 plus 1 for our student member.
she gets one anyway.
Well, she has to buy
Yeah,
it.
they don't have to buy it.
Yeah.
I think
Buy
that should be a
Yes,
gift
yeah.
from the
Oh,
school
yeah,
board, is
for
that we
sure.
can give the student
Oh, that's
rep their
fine.
yearbook. Why not?
With her reports there, right,
She's showing up
did
every
it, and we'll pay for it, yeah.
All right, so I'll entertain a motion to approve that. That
I'll
makes
make a
sense.
motion, we approve 8 of them,
All right,
times 70, if that's what the cost is. If it's gonna be 60 bucks, we'll do that.
so 560.
Okay,
All right, does anyone want a second?
I'll second.
All right, Kathleen second. So Brewster motioned and Kathleen seconded for up to $560 for yearbooks. Any discussion?
I just wanted to say that I've made a habit of saving my yearbook for the town because they don't have a record of it.
Oh, that's a good idea.
And
That's a really good
I
idea.
thought, you know, a lot of our students would like to see that in the future, that we've got those on file in our town.
Probably end up giving all of the ones I have.
Yeah.
Actually,
Got
that's
all
all.
Good
mine.
idea, I like that.
Yeah.
All 17 of them.
All right, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, abstentions. And this is a good use of the school board line for
Yeah.
this type of stuff. This is
Yeah, I
exactly
think
what it's for. So, good, perfect.
Yeah.
All right, delegate assembly. Oh, it is on here. Good. Danielle,
Yeah.
how'd it go?
So it went well. I didn't check to see if the actual notes and the slide deck from the whatchamacallit, the Jaffrey Ringe Cooperative School Board. They were the School Board of Excellence Award winners, and they had their slide deck. So that was kind of interesting. I'll just say that the 3 things that were mentioned in regard to their winning that School Board of Excellence Award were their focus on strategic planning and stakeholder engagement, which we have done. Developing policies that compel the board and the district to always have a multi-year strategic plan accompanied by school-based plans and goals, which we also do. Adeptly exercising sound fiscal prudence while simultaneously increasing STEM education in pre-K through grade 12, implementing universal access to full-day 4-year-old pre-kindergarten, purchasing and aligning literacy curriculum from K through 8, and adding childcare for children of staff members, which we do not do. But I
That's
thought it
what
was
you
an
gotta do to
interesting
get
thing.
over the top.
And continuing the important work of maintaining and improving the district's aging facilities. So again, a lot of the stuff that you find in school districts or school boards that are recognized at the state level are things that we're doing here too. So it was very fascinating to see what they've done. They have separate elementary schools. Jaffrey Ridge is where Conant is the high school, and their middle school had a different name, different colors, different mascot, but was on the same campus. They actually had a hallway that connected the 2 buildings. A little different, but not quite as much. And they, as part of their process, actually kind of rebranded and renamed everything Conant, so it's Conant Middle High School, and went to everything orange and Conant on everything to help with the kind of branding and within the community. And they mentioned that as something that really really was very well received.
I was gonna say, how did that go over?
Yeah, it was
Because
very, very well
not
received.
always.
Yeah, not always the case, but it was very well received. So that's something, again, that we've talked about in the past year, and so something I think to keep on the radar. The thing with the childcare, it's a program that they house at their high school, and so it's actually a learning opportunity for high school students, while being it's a benefit, but not a true benefit. It's not provided free of charge. The staff members actually pay a bit, but it's it's percentage of the going rate in the community. So having that on site is a learning environment for high school students who are looking at early care and education, potentially human services, other things like that. And it is something that is helpful. They also have figured out a way to work with their Rotary to help provide after-school programming and a bus route. So anyway, interesting things to pick up on. The majority of the resolutions, I think, passed through. If you remember, we had a resolution that we introduced, and it was not something that had the initial support of the School Board Association board, and I was able to tweak our resolution, and it was passed. So we had submitted NHSBA will support legislation that requires the state of New Hampshire to fund the cost of the youth risk behavior survey for all middle school students in the state. I got the feeling that compelling districts to offer the middle school survey was the hang-up, as opposed to the funding part. So I tweaked it to say NHSBA will support legislation that requires the state of New Hampshire to fund the cost of the youth risk behavior survey for New Hampshire middle school students in districts that wish to implement. And that was passed.
Yay!
So
You must have bribed them.
I did not, and actually I thought that I sold myself short, because there were a number of districts that were willing to support the initial,
Was that
the
before
original.
lunch or after lunch?
There's no lunch at this
no
thing. They
lunch
have
at
some
this
thing.
snacks.
No lunch?
No
No
lunch.
lunch.
I wouldn't
Maybe
even
some
eat
coffee.
lunch.
But yes, so there was support for that, and hopefully that is something that will move forward. But so
All right.
I'm sure the School Board Association will send out the packet with all of the resolutions that were passed, and then the information. But it is an interesting thing. You get to meet people, and there were 60
Good job,
something.
Danielle.
Let's see, I even took notes. 51 out of the 160 districts that were represented
Were there?
that day.
Wow.
That's pretty good.
Yep, and some of
attendance.
them had more than one representative there, because you could have a voting member and an alternate that also attended. So
We sent Hope last time. We sent her.
Yeah.
She did,
Yeah.
Good-
Well
good
done,
job.
thank you.
Yeah, very
All right.
cool. All right.
You're in your keep on that one.
Yeah, I know.
Any other questions for Danielle on that?
No,
All
job.
right.
Good stuff.
Cool.
not as good as the student rep.
So you'll, yeah.
I know. I didn't print anything out.
You didn't print it out to us.
I know. You take a look at my packet.
All right, next thing we have on our agenda is the athletic fields maintenance bids approval. They gave us you have that in your packet. They gave us a 5-year bid with the first year price listed there at $84,260. We budgeted $81,800, so that's pretty close to bid, pretty close to the budget amount. 2 of them did not bid, so you see that there in your packet. So I'll entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion, we accept that bid for $84,200, what is it?
$260 and 50 cents.
Yeah, exactly.
I'll second.
And Kathleen seconds. So Brewster made the motion. Kathleen seconds. All right, discussion on this.
So is this, so I'm interrupting here, is this for a 5-year bid, or are we budgeting, we usually only budget once a year, we usually only can budget yearly.
Yes.
So is this something they gave us a percentage of what they're gonna rate every year going on for 5 years? So we can't accept only just 1 year?
So we can accept, so they were giving us like a 5-year package, and we're
Right.
approving like the first year on it. Next year, we would approve the second year, but we'd have an idea of we'd have a better idea, because they're telling us what to budget.
Oh, so they're telling us what the budget, that's the comments they're giving us, right?
Yeah.
We can only, excuse me, we can only approve yearly,
Yes,
which I wanted to make sure I was clarified, that's what we got, so.
because we can't approve multi-year contracts, but we can approve individual years of a multi-year contract.
I'm just bringing it up because, and then the extra 3,000, whatever it is,
Well, we can approve multi-year contracts with the caveat that if we don't get the funding in year 2 or 3 or 4 or whatever, that the contract is null and void. That's usually what it is, because there's a state law in there that says we can't have contracts that run multiple years.
we're only going on this one.
Yeah, we're just doing the first year.
First year,
That's it.
so the extra money, you can find that somewhere else.
Well, we'll put that in the future budgets. Oh, you mean the extra 3,000, that's not?
Do we have the actual contract available?
Do I have what?
The contract available?
Yes.
So
Would-
is there a clause there that says it's pending the funding per year?
I can double check that, but.
Because we have to have the voters approve it each year.
We're only gonna vote on the first year. We're not voting on the other.
But this is a
additional-
line item on the budget, correct?
Right.
Yes.
So the voters still have to approve the 84,000 blah, blah. Then the next year, year 2, it'll be 86,000
Yeah.
blah, blah.
But that'll come up next year.
That's what I'm saying,
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
but it won't,
But I'm concerned that it may not be detailed on the contract, that we're not going to lock in automatically into the 5-year
well,
total.
we're not Kathleen, because we can't only.
We can't by state
we can't-
law.
We can't by state law.
I
We
know
don't-
what you're saying, Brewster, I just want to make sure
Yeah.
that it's in writing on
Yeah.
the
Well,
paperwork.
That's why I asked, but the only thing they got on is comments. They're giving us an idea of what it's gonna be.
Yes, it does.
Well,
Subject to
Moving
funding.
Good.
moving
Subject
forward.
to funding.
Michelle.
All right,
All right. Perfect, yeah, so all we're doing is just approving the funding every year, so as long as that's in there, we're covered for state law, all that sort of thing, so.
Now, is this on all of our athletic fields? Is the whole thing, the full shebang?
They do all
Yeah,
of
it's
our-
what we currently have, so
Yeah.
the contract with Valley Turf.
They're not
is-
doing anything different to the soccer field and all that stuff right now. It's what they're
This is just
maintaining,
maintenance,
what they're doing for
Right.
maintenance right now, correct?
Continuing as we are.
yes. I
It's
do have
status quo right now.
a question, this says 26 through 28, so
I
I'm
noticed
assuming,
that too.
did they just say, here's a 5-year? What,
That's a typo.
so should it be 25 through,
No, it's gonna start in fiscal year 26.
okay, so it'll start in fiscal year 26
Yeah, so
Oh,
26
okay.
to 30, yeah,
through 31?
31.
Okay, perfect.
Fiscal year 30, yeah.
Awesome. And, that way we'll have those rates locked in, because that is the advantage of having a 5-year agreement, is locking in rates that we can budget for, even if it's like we have to have the budget passed every year, we have to find the money every year. Like,
Right.
at least those rates are locked in, because in 2031, that's not going to be so much.
Would we have to renegotiate the contract if we do have additional fields, for example, that we add in
I would
within the 5 years?
That would matter.
Are you trying to tell me you're gonna accept what they're putting in for a 5-year bid?
Mhm.
Now I'm confused because all we're looking at is, looking at the one bid they got for this, the year coming up. The year, it's 84,000 and change. All right, never mind the other year 2, year 3, year 4, year 5.
But that's the contract
That's-
verbiage,
Yeah,
the verbiage that's on the contract. We
yeah,
can't-
that's our standard.
What are they gonna,
contracts.
what is in the contract?
This
It's
is,
a 5-year contract.
It's a-
Is this
yeah.
different than like the transportation?
Yeah, it's
It's
just
the
like
same as all the other ones.
transportation, cafe services, it's just a contract like that.
yeah,
MTD,
And the
We
RFP
never-
was for a
we never-
multi-year contract.
We never gone for a multi-year contract.
yes, we have.
With that.
Yes, we have, with turf, yes, we have. We're in one now.
Previously.
Well, you keep bringing this up, and it's like, I don't think it's the right thing to do.
All right.
Well, you just, go ahead, you just push it on, go ahead. I mean, I'm just
No,
being
it's
devil's
good to
advocate.
clear it
because
up.
I need to clear it up, because I don't,
What Is there anything that's not cleared up?
I don't understand it. I think you need to clarify.
So we're approving this 5-year contract. The first year of the contract has an $84,260.50. That's what we're approving right now. In that contract, we'll come back next year, we'll come back and budget $86,788.31, and then year 3 we'll go up to the next one. Right now, we're just doing this, but we're entering into a 5-year contract. The contract becomes null and void if we do not have funding approved by voters. So if the budget doesn't pass, and we can't find funding for it, then we're off the hook. Like, that's part of the contract. Does that clear it up?
Not really, but that's, I don't see it, because it's not like the bus thing. That's what I'm looking at it like.
How is it not like the bus?
Well, Tim, I'm just trying to say to you, I'm trying to put it through my head that, I'm trying to cipher through this, that you might have done this in the past, but, the second year of this contract, if for some reason we go to a meeting and say, well, we don't want it for 86,000, whatever it is,
Well, we couldn't do that if we had to put it in the budget and the budget was approved. We couldn't say.
So what you're saying to me, the next 5 years, you've already got these figures that's gonna be thrown in the budget for the second year, third year, fourth year, and the 5th year,
Yeah.
correct?
Yep.
That also helps us because if it's a contracted expense, isn't it something that if we had to go to a default budget would be included?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. We would
As
go back
opposed
to
to,
the
as opposed to
nothing.
year by year?
Yeah. Yeah. Because it would be it would be. It would roll into a default.
Yeah, it's our obligation.
Yep.
Right.
All right. I'm just trying to help clear this up. That's all. I just want to make sure you're on board. All right. Any other discussion on turf contract bid? All right. All those in favor of accepting the bid as presented, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Abstentions. All right. So we got a few policies on here for second reading. And if you want to go through those?
Yep.
Motion.
We just need to clear it up.
Make a motion that we approve for second reading and adoption, policy BGAA, policy development, adoption and review, policy JI, student rights and responsibilities, policy JKAA, use of restraints and seclusion. I think that was it
That's
for
it.
this batch.
Yes. All right. Entertain a second.
Did you say DA?
Policy DFAB, equivalence in instructional staff and materials. Thank you.
On the paperwork, it has, am I reading the right one? No. I'm not.
Is there an extra one on?
Stuck in here.
It's not that one.
BGAA, JI, JKAA, DF.
DAFB.
Ah.
Oh, I see. It's
Okay.
misprinted in
Oh,
here.
yes, thank you.
Yeah.
DAFB,
There we go.
DAFB.
Blah, 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 blah.
So
A
we're
lot of
gonna
letters.
stay with.
All right. So
Thank you, Kathleen.
So Danielle made the motion on the
Yes.
second reading and adoption, and Kathleen seconded.
Yeah.
So nothing really changed aside from what we made the recommendations of last time. Any further comments, questions on these policies?
Just that we note the correct
Yes.
initials for the equivalence of instructional staff and materials.
Yep, as long as the correct, yeah.
Yeah, yes, DAFB.
DAFB.
The old
All right.
payment.
All right, all those in favor of second reading and adoption of policy BGAA, policy JI, policy JKAA, and policy DFAB, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? Abstentions. All right.
Just so you know, I abstained from anything, so don't worry.
Okay.
Let's go.
Okay. Next batch will be, make a motion to approve for first reading, policy JICD, student discipline and due process, policy GBCD-RG1, background investigation and criminal history records check, internal controls and procedure, Policy IHBA, Programs for Pupils with Disabilities. Policy IHBA-R1, Programs for Pupils with Disabilities, Section 504, Notice of Parent and Student Rights. And Policy FAA, Annual Facility Plan and Unused District Property.
All right. Do you have a second?
Second.
Kathleen second, so Danielle made the motion on first readings, Kathleen seconded. All right, so let's go through first reading, JICD, Student Discipline and Due Process. Amanda, did you have any comments on this one?
No, these are some basic, what we're into right now, this round of policies are really ones that are required by law. So the NHSBA has gone through and made sure that legally they match new legislation or updated legislation. So you're really only seeing in JICD, some minor changes, but then there are, Ed 317, they've got to reference that a couple of times, and they also had a mislabeled statute in the prior version.
All right. So these are all, I think all 5 of these that we have here, looking at them, they're all a lot of legal updates that we
Yeah.
just have to make them nice.
I'm missing the policy FAA.
All right, we'll get to that one.
Yeah,
We'll find that one by the time we get down there.
yep, the last one.
You're missing that
It
one?
must be on the wrong one, I'm checking
Okay.
here.
Here, if you want
Here,
to.
you want to look at it?
Yeah.
All right, next one up is GBCD RG1. It's RG1 because they gave us 2 different options on how to do this, I believe.
Yes.
So this is the version that we talked about in plans and facilities that we recommended through. Again, this is a lot of legal stuff that lawyers have looked at and matches state and federal laws. So I would not poke around these too much.
Yeah, this is a brand new policy, brand new.
It's talking about internal controls and procedures, about background investigations and criminal history. So making sure that we're all doing the right stuff that we're supposed to be doing. All right, any questions on that one? All right, next one we have is IHBA, Programs for Pupils with Disabilities. Again, a lot of federal laws that have recently changed or been rules that have been updated. I figured that's most all of this one, right?
Yeah, this one
These
is
next 2?
reflective of changes in both IDEA and 504, section 504, so those are ADA compliant places. And also this one was reclassified from
You found it?
to required by law.
Yep.
So,
Okay. All right, and then the next one is the IHBAR, that goes along with that one. Again, that's what goes to parents and kids, and that's all really important stuff that I'm not going to touch. The last one is FAA, Annual Facility Plan and Unused District Property. This is to conform with the state law. I think the only thing there was only one small change. We looked at that in plans and facilities. So that brings us into a clearer definition of the state law. So, all right. Any questions on any of those first reading ones? All right. So the motion on the floor is for approval for first reading. All right. All those in favor of approving for first reading policy JICD, policy GBCD-RG1, policy IHBA and IHBA-R1, and policy FAA, signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed? Abstentions?
One last.
Rescind.
Make a motion that we rescind policy FAB, Facilities Development Planning Resources, policy FAD, Facility Development Long Range Planning, and policy FAE, Facility Development Student Demographic Information.
Second.
Danielle made the motion, Kathleen seconded. All right, and it's funny because these are a lot of things that got cleaned up and put into the other one about long-range planning, and just looking at the dates, it's like 30 years, putting a cap on some of these. Well, they had it, they had a plan to build a school, and they did it, so, good.
Yeah.
All right, all those in favor of rescinding those policies, FAB, FAD, and FAE, signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed? Abstentions? All right, you see in your packet for the curriculum newsletter. We'll have committee reports, things like that. We'll bulk up as much as we can. Public comment. There is no public here. So we do have non-public.
Make a motion, we go to non-public
Well, hold on a second, I wasn't there yet.
Don't we have this?
We do have the green sheet first, hold on.
You wanna do that?
Yeah, that's next on our agenda, let's do that.
Make a motion that we approve the nominations and resignations as presented.
All right,
Second?
Danielle motion, Kathleen seconded. All those in favor of the nominations and resignations as presented, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, abstentions. All right, now non-public
I did.
for hiring.
Made the
Yes.
motion.
All right, Brewster made the motion. Who seconded?
I'll second
Kathleen
it.
seconded. Brewster?
Yes.
Danielle?
Yes.
Tim? Yes. Kathleen?
Yes.
Dawn?
Yes.
All right, we are in non-public.
And I had a question on the green sheet.